Hello everybody and welcome to ISpeakSpokeSpoken.com. I'm your teacher Dan, and today we're going to look at the verb have. Now we're going to look at everything. So we're going to look at have as a main verb, have as an auxiliary verb. We're going to look at how you use it, so possession, action, obligation. We're going to look at everything. Okay, so you will know everything you need to know about the verb have. You're probably bored of the word have at the end of this video, but that's good. You need to be bored to know it. Okay, so let's have a look and let's start. So in English, have is used as both a main verb and to express possession, and as an auxiliary verb to form the perfect, so the present perfect actually. Although a form of have is used to form the past perfect as well. Okay, so I have a car. Let's just have a look at some examples. I have a car. Here, to have is the main verb. So I have a car, the car is mine. Okay, it's possession. I possess. If you can change the have with another verb, then you know that it's the main verb. So if I have a car, I own a car, I drive a car, that means that have in that sense is the main verb. That's a good trick. If you can't replace it with another verb, it's an auxiliary, all right? That's how you know. Okay, so here we have as an auxiliary, he has eaten. So again, eaten, remember the pronunciation, eaten, eaten. Eaten here is the third verb. He has. Has is the auxiliary, okay? You can't replace it with anything else. If you do, it sounds weird. So you know it's the auxiliary verb here. So here, have is an auxiliary verb and used to form this present perfect form. Okay, two other examples we've had just to let you see it really in full. We have nothing to do, okay? We don't have anything to do, you can say, or we have nothing to do. I have built my house. Just a little note about pronunciation. This word built, one of those classic English words that aren't said how they look. You don't say built, you say built with an I sound, okay? So I have, here we have I've, contraction of I have built my house, okay? Excellent, good. So those are the two different uses as a main verb and an auxiliary verb. Okay, so if we take have as a main verb, we can have a look at the different functions of this word. So we can use it to talk about possession, like we have here, I have a car. We can use it to talk about action, and we can use it to talk about obligation. Now, I'm going to go on to these in more detail, so I'm not going to explain it all completely right now. We're going to go through, so follow me. Remember, if anything gets to the point where you're not following, you can pause the video, or you can go to that I at the top and you can download these slides. That you can actually download them before you watch the video. Maybe that's a good idea as well. So the first on the list, expressing possession with have. So the verb to have indicates a relationship or possession between a subject and an object. Okay, I have a computer. Remember this word computer. This is where we put the stress. Remember we have these little apostrophes on our phonetic transcription to show you where this stress is. And remember, as we mentioned before, everything in red is a phonetic transcription, and you can find this phonetic transcription on the net somewhere, or we also will be making a video on it soon, so you'll be able to have a look at this, how you can pronounce every single one and use these transcriptions in your English learning. When you find a word, you can find out exactly how to say it, and you won't make any mistakes with your pronunciation, okay? So I have a computer, possession, okay? I have 3 brothers. Okay, this also is conjugated, so she has. So you can say she has 3 brothers, I have 3 brothers. So I have, or also she has, and remember, it's not just she, it's also it, he, and she. So it, he, she has, okay? The rest is have, okay? I have, you have, they have, we have, right? So, in the case of possessing an object to have, we can replace it with to own. So I have a car, I have a computer. I'm not sure about brothers. I'm not sure whether we can own our brothers, but you never know. Okay, so I have 3 brothers, I have a computer, but generally the rule is that we can replace it with own. Have is one of those words actually that you can replace, and sometimes in formal writing you should replace. Okay, So an example, for example, I own a computer. I have a computer. All right, and just be aware of this pronunciation, own. Actually, that word people don't generally get wrong, but in this sense, it's just nice to know how to say it. This O sound, this diphthong. Okay, age is expressed in the verb to be. Make sure you get this correctly, because I know that a lot of different languages use I have, as in I have 10 years. We don't say it like that, okay? We always say I am. So I am, however old you are. I am 30 years old, I wish. He is 20 years old. She is 12 years old, okay? So we need to think about it as be rather than have. You don't say I have years. Okay, we can also use have for action. So, for example, I will have the lobster. When you're in a restaurant, you can say I will have the lobster, or I'll have the burger. I will have, it's usually in this sense, you use it in a future form, but not always. They had a long chat, past form. Okay, they had a long chat. To have a chat is an action, having a chat. You can use it as a continuous form as well. Let's have a nap. What's this word nap? What does nap mean? It means a quick sleep. It's a very important and useful word to use. Remember also the pronunciation of this word chat, okay? Because we've got the CH together, which is often in English ch sound, we have this word chat. And again, the a part is a, okay? Not not I, chat. Definitely not jet, which is what I hear a lot from my students. It must be a, okay? Not a. Okay, so the final use of have as a main verb is as an obligation. So you can say, for example, I have to do something, okay? And the structure is have to plus infinitives. I have to go, I have to eat, I have to call. Okay, so we have here, I have to go to the bathroom. Okay, I must. It's an obligation. It's something I can't choose, really. I have to go. Okay, she had to leave her house at 6. Okay, she had to. I have to, she had to. The past for this one, she had to. Okay, and remember, of course, this leave is E sound, leave. Remember the pronunciation here. Right, so let's have a look at the difference between have and have got. Now, the differences are not that huge, but they're quite important. And it's often a lot to do with the difference between UK and American English. So you might have noticed that some people say I have got and some people say I have. For example, I've got a brand new car, I have a brand new car. Now, we say that UK English says I have got and American English says I have, and this is generally the case actually. But it's not always the case. Some English people, British people might say, I have a brand new car, or I have a problem, or I have my lunch, okay? As in, I have my lunch in my bag. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is the way it should be, but this is the way generally it happens, okay? So I have got is a possession thing. So I have got a car, I have got a bag, I've got a brand new car here we have. For example, but remember that this is just a loose rule. But in general, it's used more in spoken English, okay? So you might not write it. But actually, if you're writing an informal email, you probably would, I've got this or I've got that. And also remember, you can contract the I have or she has or he has to I've or she's or he's. Okay, so for example, let's just put that there for you. So I've, she's, he's, okay? You can do this together. So make sure that you don't worry about this too much, but just be aware of it, okay? It's very important to just be aware of it. Okay, so derived forms of have got. So have got, you can use it, for example, I've got, she's got, pretty much what we've said here. So we're going to look at how to use have got in some sentences. I know I've given you a couple of examples, but let's have a look at how we can use the derived forms. So derived forms of what we just talked about, this I've and she's and that kind of thing. So let's have a look. I've got a pencil, I have a pencil, okay? So instead of saying I have, you say I have got, which is contracted, I've got a pencil. She's got a dog, okay? She has a dog or she has got a dog, but she's and she has is contracted to she's, okay? So it's not possible to use contracted forms without got, okay? You can't say I've a pencil. You will hear this in the north of England, but it's not considered correct. It's considered a local thing, okay? So please don't be confused by this, because actually, although people do use this in certain areas of the UK, I know for sure, and I'm sure it happens maybe in the US, it's not correct form, and it's very kind of hyper-local. So you just need to make sure that you think about how you should be speaking correctly if you want to learn English to a certain level. Okay, so for example, things like I have a pencil, she's a dog, it's not correct. In fact, this means something quite offensive, and you don't want to accidentally say something, okay? So let's have a look at it in negative form. So for example, I haven't got a microwave, they don't have a microwave, okay? So they don't have is without got, I haven't got is using got, so I haven't got. So we have, for example, this part, haven't, is contracted, so have not. And also we've got the same here, do not, okay? Do not have, do and not are contracted here as well. And just be aware of this word microwave, okay? Again, we have this, I will always kind of make it a little bit bigger so you can see it, just when we're talking about these things. So we have this apostrophe where you have the stress, and it always comes before that stressed part. Microwave, and actually you can see you've got this famous schwa here as well, which is the sound, microwave. Again, very small and not very pronounced, and this is how you say it in British English and American English, microwave, microwave. Okay, let's go to the next one. So a couple more examples for you. He hasn't got a mobile phone, which is British English. So he hasn't got. You can see that this has not has been contracted here. And also we have the American version, which is he doesn't have a cell phone. Notice we've used the American and British words for mobile phone or cell phone here, because it is different. British people call them mobiles or mobile phones, and Americans call them cell phones or cells sometimes. Okay, so interrogative forms, let's have a look at these. To ask a question, have got. So for example, have plus has, so have or has plus subject plus got plus object. Example like this, have you got a lighter? Have you got a lighter? This is very British. Have you got a lighter? Can I borrow a light? Great. Okay, lighter, lighter. Again, stress on the first part of the verb. An American might say, do you have a lighter? Do you have a lighter? So this is how we can see the differences. Very often you will use got in a sentence for a question, so interrogative form in British English. So if you're combining a question and a negation, so you're kind of expecting an answer, you know what's coming, you might say, hasn't he got a house? Hasn't he got a house? Meaning, I think I know he has a house, right? So hasn't he got a house? And again, we have this contraction here, hasn't he got? And an American, doesn't he have a house? Again, contraction, does not he have a house? Okay, so those are the two different ways that you can use this negative form in a question form as well. Let's have a look at the next part. Okay, let's have a look at when not to use have got. And you have to be careful with this, because we've gone through it and I've showed you have got, and you think, I know it now, but actually you need to remember that there are some times when you can't say it, okay? And if you know that, then that will differentiate an English speaker from a really good English speaker. Okay, so let's have a look. So when not to use have got. We've got some great examples here. So I usually have got lunch at noon. You can't say that because it's not the way it goes. So remember that got is mainly used when we're talking about possession, but you can't use it in other ways. So when we said about have, using as a possession, but also using as an action. When you use it as an action, you can't use got, okay? Because you can't say, for example, I usually have got lunch. I usually have lunch at noon. Because you've got here, you've got your time pointer, and you've got your usually here. So it's an example of a habit. I usually have lunch at, so got just cannot happen there. Doesn't work, it's not good. Okay, he wants to have a shower. Okay, he wants to have a shower. Again, action, no got. He wants to have a shower. Remember this word shower, hour. Actually, it's quite funny because we've got this ow and together, and you have to go hour, shower. Okay, good. I had got a dog when I grew up. No, it's not right. Again, this is possessions, and you have to be careful of this. That rule isn't always the way. So I had a dog when I grew up. Okay, there's a very fine line between this form and a perfect form. So you have to just be aware. So I had a dog. I had a dog when I grew up. Okay. So let's have a look at this one. I will have got a new TV. It's kind of a mouthful. So, okay. So we don't say got. I will have a new TV. Does that sound right? It sounds okay, and I will understand you. I will have a new TV. I will have. Yeah, it's correct. In the future, if you buy a new TV, you will have one. But it's better to say, and let's just delete that for a minute. It's better to say, I will get a new TV. I will get a new TV, like I will buy a new TV. And then you can say, for example, I will have it in the future. This is more about vocab than it is about grammar, because the grammar can be sound, but then if you haven't got the vocab, if you haven't got the knowledge of where to use these, then it doesn't sound correct in the right situation. So just remember that actually sometimes in English it's about knowing the vocabulary. If you know the vocabulary, you know how to use the grammar, and you know which things you need to put where, which verbs you need and where. And have, got, get and be are all kind of these words that you use. Okay, so we'll come to this. There'll be plenty of videos about this. Stay with us, all right? We'll tell you everything. Okay, so the smart ones of you will notice, or you probably would have noticed already, that there was a mistake on this line, so we've taken it away. But yeah, the mistake was that we actually were telling you that you should use got there, which you couldn't. Okay, these things happen. So anyway, the next one. Here, have got a beer. Here, have got a beer. And actually, this is not right. You can just say, here, have a beer. Okay? Offering somebody, have a beer. Here, have a beer. We can't say, have got a beer. You can say, have you got a beer? Do you want one? That's fine. But you can't say, here, have got a beer. It's got to be, have a beer. Okay. So here are expressions with have in English. So 10 typical expressions using have. Right, let's have a look. We'll go straight into them. Okay, I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. What does this mean? It means I don't know. I haven't got a clue. We can say I haven't got or I don't have. The Americans would probably more likely say I don't have. British would say I haven't got a clue. It means I have no idea. I have no idea at all. And here we have again, I have no idea. All right, I have no idea, I haven't got a clue. Two things that mean the same thing. All right, have a look. Have a look. See what you can see. Have a look. Offering someone to see something, show something. Have a look. Remember, this word look is the sound. Look. Like look, book, cook, could, would. All the same sound. Okay, have a look. He's having a shower. He's having a shower. This is using it in a continuous way. He's having a shower. Okay, happening right now. He is. Is auxiliary verb. Okay, great. They had a blast. Past. They had a blast. They had a great time. Okay. To have a blast is I had a great time. I had a blast. All right. I have a cold. I have a cold. Possession right now. I'm not feeling too good. I have a cold. Okay. I'm not feeling good. A cold is like runny nose, sneezing. I have a cold. Okay. I have a headache, stomach ache, fever, cough. Okay. So let's just quickly have a look at the pronunciation here. So headache. Again, we have the strength on the first part of the word, and we have this A sound, headache. Remember, the end here as well, this is k, not ch, or ch, headache, okay? Stomach ache, fever, okay? Fever again, this E sound, and cough. Now, this is a very difficult part of a word, and we will do a video on it, I promise you. But at the moment, let's just have a look at this. In this form, on that word, it's off, okay? But it has 5 other pronunciations, which we'll tell you about another time. Okay, we have a sweet tooth. We have a sweet tooth. What does a sweet tooth mean? It means I like sweet food. Okay, we have a sweet tooth. She has time to kill. She has time to kill. What does this mean? It means that she has time to do things that she doesn't need to do. So time to kill is you have space. You have a big break. You know, I have time to kill. He had his hands tied. Okay, now hands tied means, for example, that he's not able to do what he wants to do. He can't help you the way he wants to help you because his hands are tied. We say this quite a lot. It's a very important word. Very important phrase, especially in business, actually. So there we have it. And I've just used it again. Okay, so now you know everything you need to know about the verb have. Now remember, you can go back to this, you can download the slides, you can take the quiz, you can watch the video again, you can pause our video, go back and check out our mistake, see if you can spot it. All right, so have a great time and we'll see you next time on ISpeakSpokeSpoken.com.